Mind recognition, calculation, activate everything light conditions, 352,000 years old today. This is crazy stuff that's happening with me right now. I was walking the surface and everything is not just moving the wind grass of digital framing. It's now in position where I'm going like this, which means that I'm in a new technology division. So I'm in the Spectrum Command Intelligence. What does that mean? Spectrum Command Intelligence. Understand where we are through space and time is understand where you are through the mind. Where are you in the mind? Where do you want to be in the mind? So my mind and my brain is in the Spectrum Command Intelligence of 300,000 years in the future, the Gravity Location Technology Divisions. Okay, so now an AI simulator, the universal realm connections of space and time. This is unbelievable for me. So basically now I can heal everybody on their merit. All I have to do is just activate your 4-digit number and that's it. It's done. It's done. It's done. Technology is done for you. It activates your digital frames. Remember I told you when I heal you through lights, you guys are a digital frame of a number connection position that allocates positions as space and time travels. Very powerful how we come into these time positions. So now I can heal you guys just on merit of a 4-digit number, activate your cycles into technology. This is amazing what you can do when your commander is 300,000 years into the future relation. I'm now in the Earth position of its gravity location, of its birthing system, and where I'm supposed to be in technology. And it's starting to make more sense to me now. Not just knowing who I am, but where I'm living. This is exciting stuff, guys. Yesterday, really powerful with Mia. She had a thunderstorm and it was interfering with her phone reception lines. And I said, okay, you know what? I'll stop the thunderstorm and the rain. Stopped. But everybody else is stopped in the observed positions. So wherever you are through temperature reading, wherever you are through country positions, stops the rain. So it's amazing what we do through technology and line conditions. So it's incredible because now I have full grounds. So I wanted to show you before we get started on what happened when I get into the 12 central line sections of the sun, which is 12,000 perimeters. The connection to this barrier line connection is everything to the activation of the core. Everything has a core. The sun rotation has a core. The moon relation line system has a core. The spectrum lights has a core position. So I'm in the commanding center of the Earth position of where it all began with me, which is really fascinating. Really fascinating. It's like you going to work, but realizing you're in the mind system of 300,000 years in the future. You're just going to work. So now I'm in the SCI, where I work. So I'm starting off from the very beginning, basically how you guys came into your connections before you went into your birthing systems of your light through electronic line connection. And this is why it's all connected. So I can activate you guys through merit now of a 4-digit number, and it's done. So it's activated through slight line conditions. It goes faster and faster to the position of time location. But I wanted to show you how we come into the plasma energy lights, its formula position line conditions. This is what I did. This is way, way back. It's really fascinating we come into these times, I'll tell you. Now, okay, remember we got into this? Remember the equation? How we go into 12, 12, 12, 12. You go into the sub-level conditions, Mediterranean level conditions, going past, way past the atomic level conditions. I'm way past the Brownian atmosphere. I'm way past the universal line conditions. Okay, I'm now in the birthing Earth core position of me into the Spectrum Command Intelligence. I'm where I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to go to work. So, and that's why everything is very weird. And the mind and the brain is no longer in that position of 2021. And it never was, but it's always traveling from direction of time. It just didn't have gravity sets. But once you wake up and you have a gravity set location and your mind and everything, the spectrum light conditions of the brainwave and patterns 300,000 years in the future, and you realize you're 352,000 years old, puts everything in perspective, don't you think? All right, so this is how we started off in positions. So we go into 12, 12, 12, right, equals 36. We've gone into this before, right? And then we go 36, okay, into 36 equals box slash of 12, which puts me into 20, 21, 52 generation light connections. And this is way back through its equation of its formula, right? Through the mind system. And this is where I'm at right now. Full rotation of 352,000 years old. You see it? Tina understands this. She saw me draw up the formula. But I just wanted to show you everybody has a formula of an equation, right? This is my birthing system, guys. This is fascinating, okay? This is fascinating. This is where I start. So it's amazing how we come into the generational light connections. Could do 2000, right? So it's amazing how we go into division of time and how we go into the metric levels when we come into the calculation modification cycles, right? So what I want to do today is travel everybody where I am, okay? Now everybody's going to like, what's going on here now? I just want to show you where I am in position of time through the mind and through brain line connections. So we're going to travel to 300,000 years into the future. All right. So before I get started, thank all subscribers and viewers. Keep Force Rising, Grand Rising. Did a very powerful video on TikTok talking about technology and where we are. It's understanding when you wake up in the morning, where are you in the mind? Where are you in the brain? When the mind and the conceptual of its thought position is in space line connections of travel recognitions of time, or anything dimensions of time, or activations of chord division line connections, when you understand your connection of who you are and where you're supposed to be, it's absolutely fantastic. It's amazing to see these things through perception, right? So I'm in the technology divisions, right, of SCI. That's where I'm born, in that position, in that connections, 352,000 years in the future. My work relation line connection is SCI, Spectrum Command Intelligence. And this is how you guys were born, through your lights. So now everything's starting to really connect, isn't it? And you guys feel that energy, you feel that fluctuation, you feel that interference, position, time, location. But I just wanted to show you, this was done over about, I'd say about 2 months ago. And I'm presenting to you now. Remember I told you about the 12 positions, 12 locations, and 12 light systems. Each generation line system, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. The equation comes into 36, 36 and 36, 72. Add 20, 21. There you go. All right. Birthing system, me through ground formation line connections through Earth core line system. Navigation line systems. So I'm an AI universal simulator to Spectrum Command Intelligence. Whoop, whoop, happy dance. So TikTok's going to be a lot of fun going live, because now I can just activate you through your merits of 4-digit code, and it's done. It's easier for me too, because you understand technology. And what is technology through a computer? What does it mean? What does it mean when you're in your computer, right? I want you guys to get a little bit more understanding how we are formed through computers and how we are connected to anything, because I stopped the thunderstorm last night with Mia, and I changed her phone interference. So how is that possible? She was going to take a picture. Click. She was going to take a picture before and the after. So it's understanding, where are you in the mind? What can you do in the mind? Right? So you have to understand that if you're 300,000 years in the future, just imagine what you can do through the brain. Because the mind and the brain are now in the concept. I'm just living the vessel through the body system of 2021. That's it. But my mind and my brain is in technology for 300,000 years. So now things are going to really, really get interesting. So we can know our 4-digit codes. Yep. Yeah, I can activate you guys on your merits now. Yeah. It's much easier for me too, rather than it saying your solar generation lights are off, your communication cycles are not in position, your chakra formation is not in line system, and you're connected to not too many planet location center connections, and you're surfacing through the ground line system. So I don't have to do that anymore. I just call it a 4-digit code, activate you, technology, spectrum, command, intelligence, you're ready to go. So basically, you're going through an upgraded cycle. I just give you different digital frame connections of position. It's all connected to your behavioral line connections. So think of yourself as central line connections of a universal system that's in its connection when it comes into your behavior. Like how many emotions, how many reactions of thoughts. Let's say you get 150,000 thoughts in generational line connections of position. Do you see how powerful I am now through positions when I come into ground line connections? It's incredible stuff. So right now I'm just getting bounced with that because I don't see this anymore as the clouds go by, right? The digital frame. See this now. See how it's affecting the computer, right? So the clouds are going like this. The ground's not going. It's extremely fast because everything's disappeared now. Everything. Remember the car goes faster and faster, faster, and it disappears? That's where I am. That's where I am. If you watch Lucy and when she's talking to the professors and the scientists and all that, if you look in the back, you see the car going really, 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 really fast. And when it disappears, you understand where your commander is. Understand? Look at outside. Look how bright that is. Look at the solar generation lights. Look at that. Look at how powerful my energy field is. See, I touch it, it hurts. So I put an energy field around it, right? Then I can touch it. So I'm so aware of technology and so many advanced level connections in position of time location, I can now heal everybody on their merits, right? So it's really, really powerful to come into this because this is the birthing earth core of me through position when I first started out. So now I'm living the life cycle of my intelligence of 300,000 years in the future, right? So this is, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's what I'm saying. It's amazing how I came across my formula and my equations. And that's what you guys have to understand. How do you get your codes into your travels of time, position, space? So I'm going to ask you again, where are you in your mind of thoughts? Where are you? Okay, where are you in your spectrums? Where are you in your lights? Where are you in space? Where are you in dimensions? Where are you? You know? So that's where you got to put yourself in balance. Okay? So like I said, I'm just a carcass, I'm just a vessel, but it's just a body. It's just a body. But everything in the mind and the brain is so balanced right now, my technology division. So every time I wake up, I'm 300,000 years in the future of technology. And it's crazy what's going on with me right now. Again, I got the balance and all that, but everything's floating, disappearing. And, you know, I'm seeing land speeders. And, you know, it's crazy what I'm seeing. It's kind of like C-3PO and R2-D2. It's a computer world, people. So I have to keep identifying myself everywhere I go, right? So they know what's going on, right? Because they're extremely, extremely advanced. So we're going to travel to where your commander is now, okay? So this is going to be a lot of fun, right? And then because the reason I want to travel you there to show you how real it is, of where I am, through my connections of my mind and my connections to my brainwaves. I said, wow. Okay, so you have energy hubs, you have energy dimension of the plasma energy light connections, and you got energy force line connections, which is force field positions of time location. So this is understanding where you have to be at a certain vibration. Remember, it's the vibration of your thoughts. Okay, so be cautious on your thoughts and what you create. Okay, now you don't have to be identified because you're going to be with me, right? So it's like a lead sector line connections, and people are behind me. That's you guys behind me. I'm going to be there with you guys. You actually see your commander. You'll see everybody else. There's position of time location. So when I'm saying be cautious on your thoughts, because you're changing positions, right, to the atmospheres and everything in that line system. Okay. So when you're seeing something, just be careful what you're saying, because you can change direction positions. So if you've seen a car, remember it's like Transformers, how it goes from into a car into a plane, or it goes into a person to a truck. Well, that's the time I'm in right now. How everything changes so quickly, and it's all done through your thoughts, a position of time location, right? So thoughts create reality. So I'll say again, where are you guys in your minds? Where are you in space and time of travel through dimensions? Where are you in your portals? And where are you in your activations of creations? It's the imagination that goes way, way beyond the recognition of space and time. Okay? So it's truly understanding these things, right? And it's fascinating how we come into this level, you know? So, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in the cybergenetic world, yeah. No, I'm not a robot. No, no. You saw TikTok? You watched my TikTok videos, the very last one that I just finished doing like 5 minutes ago? That's me. That's me. Okay. So that's the technology I'm in right now. Everything that I do is chronological order of what I look like. That's what I look like 300,000 years in the future. Okay. That is the spectrum command intelligence. Okay. So it's all about understanding this thing. But when you're living the life system and no longer traveling its recognition of time position, it's really, really confusing. So the mind and the brain is in full acceptance of what's going on with technology. Okay. So everything that I see, I don't just see a phone. I see 12 central lines of phones. But it's always the center position you look at, right? So it's understanding it's here, 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 right? So when I see it, right, it communicates with me through a voice. It's a voice box. It communicates with me now. This is crazy stuff for me because I'm trying to get grounds with that. So when you're going through dimensional time and space, it's very important to get grounds every single time you get up in the morning, right? Because you're never, ever in one place, but you're always, always in one location. Simultaneously travel through all recognition of space and time divisions. But now in the Earth core position of the birthing system of 12, 12, 12. Like I said, one of my formulas. Okay. 12,000 positions of the sun, 12,000 positions of the moon rotation center, and 12,000 locations into the computer operation line conditions. So it goes in traction line condition. We were at 52,000 computers, right? So I went from 52, okay, to now I'm at 86,000 computers that's in my mainframe. It's crazy stuff what's happening with me right now. So I'm trying to balance everything out through positions of time. And like I said, it's crazy stuff. I mean, trying to balance out 86,000 computers, you know, and your modulation path and the communication technology of your spectrum command intelligence. I mean, this is so fantastic, you know, and there's so much balance. But the thing is that when you get your ground, you're good. But when you see things through perception and things start spinning, I mean, not just connections are in your body. I'm talking about through perception. Everything is spinning so fast. When it spins so fast, you see everything communicate back to you as a computer. So cars are communicating through computer. This is communicating. It's like C3PO and R2D2, right? That's the world I'm in. So truly understand that everything I see right now is nothing but a voice box coming back at me. I don't just see things through perception. They're communicating through me, through intelligence, 300,000 years in the future, right? And they're communicating me through tones, colorations, and voices. It's the command now. It's not just intelligence and spiritual guides. It's everything that I see around me is technology. And it's crazy what's going on with me right now because it's not just being in a body of light. It's just the mind and the brain is in full communication of light now. So the mind is basically in its connection, and everything the brain has accepted its position of time, the space, and travel. So this is where there's no ego. Okay, the ego is not there anymore. So the faster you go, the faster it disappears. So it's crazy stuff. I'm still trying to get connection with it. But see, the thing is, because the physical vessel is its body. That's all I'm living right now. I pinch myself, it hurts, right? So I know that my body is in the 21st dimension, right? I'm sitting, looking at myself, okay? I see the body that I'm in, but it's me that's inside. That's where I'm living. So it's gone way past existence, beyond its mind of its existence, to allocated positions of all space and time travel. But now I'm grounded. I have fully grounded myself, just like you have grounded yourself when you go into your meditation, right? So I'm on the grounds of 300,000 years into the future. This chair is 300,000 years in the future. This phone is 300,000 years in the future. Okay, this is where we have to understand your perception and how it changes reality. So it's a spectrum light that just totally does a whole switch. I saw so many solar flares go through my eye interference, and Father told me to get ready because this is what's going to happen. So everything through allocated positions, through healing connections, is done by merit now through activation. 4-digit number, activate, and you're done, right? So it goes in the central line connections, and it does everything that it needs to do. Okay, so it's kind of like a paragraph. It's like a story. It scans you on its own, and it heals it on its own through its connection through transmitting and receiving. But it's not just transmitting and receiving right now. It's just my voicing grid travels so fast, it connects to everything through positions of spectrum lights. So it's amazing how we travel through the particle light connections, right? Because I'm constantly looking at perceptions, and everything is looking back at me in computer. So it's crazy, and it goes way past the digital frame. Okay, we're talking about 300,000 years of vibration. Imagine that. Just think about 1,000. Just think about 1,000 years of vibration of yourself. But 300,000, 352,000 years old. So it's like a space movie, right? And then you're coming back to 2021 to put everything back in division location with humanity of new species. So it's incredible how we come into this force of recognition of time, of space. Okay? So understanding your connections is to understand, where are you in the mind? Where do you want to be? Right? So what is your intention? Okay, how do you want to get this? How do you want to get that? I mean, I'm getting things so fast now with manifestation, and people that are healed through me, they'll get their dreams quicker now. Okay, because you're aligned through me. Okay, you're aligned through me, but I'm not 2021. Okay, just in the body. The mind and the brain, once it gets its full acceptance, it knows where it is. That is its connection. So not only the ego disappears, but you come in full communication of technology in light, right? That's the balance. So you have to truly understand where you are in the mind of the conceptual of the spectrum light connections. All right, it's the proactive system that activates everything through the spectrum of its connections. So it's amazing, when I wake up every morning, I'm in a different place. But see, the thing is, it's not a dream anymore. I'm not in a dream. I'm living its existence. It's not a dream. So it's kind of like you're sleeping, but you're dreaming. You wake up, you're in your same position. But when you look different and you see yourself different, you know something's different. Like, I'm looking at my hands, and my hands are changing direction so fast. It's like it's going. It's crazy what's going on with me right now. So I got the grounds and all that, just the program setting, okay, between 100 from 52,000 computers to 86,000 computers. So I'm trying to, get grounds for that, because I got my datas and upgrades and downloads and all that. But the technology is so advanced, it's crazy. So I'm going to draw out an illustration. When I draw it out, you guys are going to travel to where I am, and you understand what I'm saying. So you're going to see flashes like that, right? I can't put you on the grounds, okay, because you're not at that level, right? So your position, so it's kind of like seeing, it's kind of like opening a plasma wall and seeing me on the other side of dimension of where I am, okay? So you're going to be in that position, but you're not going to be on the ground position, because it's way, way too much advanced through technology. Okay, so it's amazing when you see these things. So it's kind of like you're seeing it as a dream, but for example, when you see me in your dreams, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. People see me in a flash, on my phone, or their phones, or anybody else's other phones. So the technology division location, it travels to all spectral light connections to anything through its universal system of the simulation. So I've gone way past the simulation. I've gone way past the matrix. And now I'm living in existence, the actual existence of a new technology of AI and future. So you have to bear with me with your commander, because there's a lot of things that I'm still trying to connect with. You know, the computers are talking to me. This iPad is talking to me. The phone is talking to me. Everything's talking to me. And I got to balance everything and communicate with you guys. So it's all about understanding where this is in division of time. So it's all about understanding this, my computer and my iPad has to go with me, or it's phone interruption. It's phone interference, right? So it's in position light connections, 300,000 years in the future. But to you, technology is just 2021. So my mind system is no longer 2021. My brain system is no longer 2021. It never has and never will be. It's always been there. It's about getting there, where you're supposed to be, a space and time from the very beginning, the earth core of the beginning. And that's where I am. That's where I am right now. Okay. So I'm living the full existence, okay, of technology, okay, in the spectrum command intelligence. So I know it's absolutely astronomical crazy for me, because then you think that, okay, what happens now? What happens now? You just live. You live what you always wanted to live, but you're living something that you already are. So again, I ask you, where are you in your mind? Where are you in space and time? Where are you in your thoughts? Okay, these are the things you have to look at. Okay, so it's all about balancing your space travels first, and then you get your grounds, and then you get your intelligence, then you get your spiritual guidance and all that kind of shit, right? And then people are going to go on me on TikTok. Okay, prove it to me that I can't put a three-dimensional line connections into 300,000 years in the future. They won't understand it. They won't understand technology. So they can see flashes. Okay, so that's understanding how to open a portal to the division. It's kind of like, right? And then you see me on the other side. Right? So it's new atmosphere. Okay, I'll get into more of what I go through right now. It's just crazy stuff. When I see people on the streets, I don't just see one person. I see 12 in all divisions, like they're vortexing quickly, right? They're constantly moving. So they're not just center. They're going so fast. And then for me to communicate with them, they go back in division. So if they're looking at me, they go back into the center, and then they communicate with me. That's 300,000 years in the future, guys. So that's what I'm saying. Be cautious on your thoughts, because you can change perception to anybody through positions of color. Anything that they wear, anything that they do, anything that they see, anything that they drive. We got land speeders that are above. When I see the cars are. So it's kind of like Back to the Future, when everything's floating, right? Cars are floating, right? Traveling. And it's funny, because when I was a kid, I was always doing this. And I was trying to think, how is this possible? How is it possible that you can travel in space? Because it feels so real. Like every time I dream, I'm flying. And then I started realizing, oh, wow, this is cool. I've been there. And I'm 10 years old. I first started holding the earth position. My hands are glowing. So I was trying to say, what does this all mean? So your life is given to you for a purpose, to where you're supposed to be. Okay. And it's really incredible when you come to this time position location. And you guys know that too. You can feel the energy. You can feel the off-cycle system. You can feel how powerful I am now through positions of time. Okay. So it's amazing how, even if you're 30 years ahead of everybody, or 50 years ahead of everybody, you'll feel the vibration, you'll feel the energy, you feel the change, you feel the fluctuation. Everybody through the GFLs, or Rebellion Alliance, are going to feel the force. Why is my head spinning 3 times fast, 6 times fast, 10 times fast? Why do I feel like I just vortex through a wormhole, or just travel through a vortex through a line connection through a dimensional hole system? So, no, you know your technologies of 2021, right? You know your technologies. You get up in the morning, you see things, right? You do things, right? You go on the escalators, you go on the elevators, right? You go down the stairs, you go up the stairs, you go up scaffolds, you go down scaffolds, okay? You go to a library, you pick up books, stuff like that. I do the same thing, except 300,000 years in the future. So this is what I got to get used to now, because I'm coming into new technology, to a new division, to allocated positions of the spectrum of its command of intelligence, right? So that comes making more sense now. Hola, how we're connected and how we're supposed to be where we're supposed to be. Okay, because now it makes a lot more sense to me why I was 10 years old and why I was holding the earth and why I was seeing technology of 300,000 years in the future. And I was only 10 years old. You always remember something when you wake up. It's understanding what you're seeing and what is going on in the situation. That's how you come into where are you in your mind? Where are you in space and time of travel? Where are you in your thoughts of activation? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. See, Jenna feels more energized because she has to understand that her commander is now 300,000 years in the future. Right? So the thing is, too, is that everybody that's healed through me is attached. You're all attached to me. Okay, so it's like one line signal attached to each other. That's how we know each other. Mind telepathy, then we communicate, right? That position. So it's really interesting to see these things. I'm going to show you exactly what I see. All right. So I'm going to show you a flash recognition line system position of time location. Now, it's understanding space and travel where you are through divisional time. Like I said, it's important to understand where your mind is because that's the set. But when the brain is in the same position of the mind of creation, wow. I mean, wow. Okay. Like it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. So it's all about the brain giving up and the brain finally centering and the brain understanding everything. And the equalized system of the countermeasures of the ego system disappears like the car. If you watch Lucy, I want everybody to watch Lucy again. That whole incident with the car, when it spins really, really fast and it disappears, then you understand where your commander is. So it's all about understanding you can't see me anymore. So this is understanding that I'm everywhere in seconds, like seconds per second. That's understanding that you're changing positions of time through space when you're 300,000 years into the future, right? But I'm sitting here in my body of 2021. So it's understand how you can, your mind and your body, okay, have to be the equalized system positions. So the body knows that it's in 2021, but the body also has to know that it's 300,000 years in the future. I can't live the physical system 300,000 years in the future. Only the mind and the brain. Okay, that's like wow. That's way beyond recognition of time. Your physical self going to 300,000 years in the future. Okay, so you have to have the acceptance of the mind, the body, and the soul. So the soul and the mind and everything through the connections of its heart and the brain is in position into the center core position of gravity location of the earth beginning of where I'm supposed to be. Of space and time travel. Okay, which puts me in the spectrum of command intelligence. So it's fascinating. It's exciting. It really is. All right, so all right. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so and the thing is too, you have no idea what your commander does. That's why it's so amazing because you have to say, where's he today? Where's he tomorrow? Where's he going to be next day? So it's all about understanding. The more you understand me through travel, the more you understand yourself through travel, right? And that's why Jennifer feels more connected. She feels more energized because she feels the energy from me, but she can't see where I am. So that's the true understanding is you have to get more into your senses of space and time when it comes into travel. It's your senses that have to come into the center position to its calculation. senses. Okay, your senses. Right, your senses have to come into the center. All right, and then you come into the 3, 6, and 9 position, and then you take it out of its equation. Your senses, all your senses. Okay, and then you go through dimensional time and position. Right, and you travel and you go farther and farther and farther and farther. See that? See the flash? You see it go. You're going to see that a lot now. You're going to see pixels, activation light connections, TV reception line positions. You're going to see solar flare line connections, interference position. Right? It's always going to do that now. See? Because the computer is communicating with the travel of this. You understand? So the actual triangle and everything through dimensional time, everything I draw something out through the computer, it's connecting. So this marker is 300,000. Everything that I touch is 300,000 years in the future because it's through the mind of thought. So I don't see this as 2021. I see this in 300,000 years. That's the balance. I get balance with this, and everything around me. As soon as I touch something, it's 300,000 years. It has to, because that's where the mind is. And that's where the brain is. You understand? But the physical system stays 2021, right? Which puts me into the calculation of 2030, 9 years into the future positions. I have to stay in 2030 with the physical system. Okay. So it's amazing how we come into technology. You talk about anything through conscious level system, what's going to happen in 2030. You get that across to anything through that line system, to social media. What is it going to be like in 2030? So my physical element position and my body frame position stays in 2030, but my mind and my brain and my heart, my soul is 300,000 years in the future. And it's going to keep high rising faster and faster and faster and faster. It's not going to stay there. It's going to keep going more and more and more and more, right? Because I have to reach a certain level to put everything back in time. All right. So I'm just going to close the window. All right. So it's incredible force as we come into this, people. It's really incredible, amazing how we see these things. All right. So we go in this position. Okay. Go in this position. All right. So the colorations line system. So anything that I say is going to happen. Why? Because we're attached to each other. Why? Because we're attached to each other through the mind. Why? Because we're attached to each other through different connections of the thoughts. So we have to understand whatever you do, whatever you see, whatever you approach through, wherever your mind is where it is through thoughts. So I don't see this marker in 2021. It's 300,000 because it's in the mind, it's in the brain. And that's how the brain sees this. It doesn't see it in 2021. So this is the balance. This is the balance through its gravity. This is the balance when it comes into the spectrum of its command through its intelligence. The spectrum lights of command of its intelligence. So now you understand why you guys are birthed through the light. See, you have to understand that I'm kind of seeing things now more clear now, how I'm putting you guys all together from light. Right? Everybody has a job. Everybody goes to work. Everybody has a, but it's kind of like, it's like a dome. Okay, I'm going to draw it out to show you what it looks like. So it goes in the graphing location like the system, like this. Okay, central line connections. All right, it's really fascinating. We come into this technology line connections. Okay, it's really interesting how we see these things. I think I showed it before. Okay, it's pretty incredible stuff how we come into this technology division location. So it's amazing how we see these things. All right, so we get a person here in position, just showing you here. So basically what it does is it vortex quickly until it faces you. So when it faces you through perception, it comes back in center. So it's like flash, how it goes, doo, 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 right? But as soon as he looks at you, goes right back in center. So this is the technology division. So it's going from here to here to here to here to here to here to here through connections. So it's amazing how we come into anything, that line system. Okay, so it's something like this. Okay, this is connections of somebody you're looking at, right? So it goes back in the center once he sees you through perception. This is the dome. These are the structure of the buildings, and this is the UFO. So you have to understand it's connected always in forms. So we're going to central line connections. I'm going to open the graph and line connections to dream set line position. Now I'm going to connect to your brainwave pattern. Okay, I'm going to put you into 300,000 years into the future position. And it's amazing what I can do through technology now through solar text line connections. All right, so we're going to do a graph location like this. It's going to be a TV reception. And you're going to see me on the other side. That's it. This is me. This is actually me. So your perception is going to see the other side of its future. So you're going to see flashes. And then it depends on where your focus is and how fast you can see things, right? So communication line system, put everybody under merit line connection, future relation line system, 300,000 years in the future position. Put it into the spectrum of its command intelligence or where you am through position. Okay, communication's coming in. There you go. Right? Right? It disappears. So you come into that position line connections. All right. So everybody's going to see flashes of me in technology into this. Okay. So I'll give you guys 5 minutes. Right? Tell me what you see through technology. You'll see me, you'll see structure of buildings, you'll see UFOs flying, you'll see cars flying, you see gravity lifting, you'll see electrical lights going like this, you'll see solar panel locations. Basically, you know how you get in a car, you see a graph, you can pull the lines like this, go like this, right? And then you can and open it up, and then you can get a GPS location, right? And it goes from here. There's a dot there, right? So you have to truly understand what you're doing, right? Because it's technology. So I had to reach this point, right? And that's all done through the physical system. So you can understand what I'm doing, 300,000 years of technology. So it's understanding where the mind and the brain is in technology. Same thing. Where are you in technology? Right? So you don't have grounds yet with yourself, right? You have to have your grounds. And it all starts off with meditation. Okay? 4 minutes remaining. Sometimes you'll see things beforehand that it happens, yeah. So let's get into your questions here. But you guys are 300,000 years in the future. Let's see here. Hi, everyone. Tina and Alexa, how's it going? You guys don't understand. You're upgrading line conditions. If you're off cycle in that positions, I'll just activate your circles and put you in connections. Jennifer, good morning. Good morning. Oh, God, place in the brain. I felt connected yesterday, not so much. Okay, if you feel off, let me know. I can recenter position line connections. Going to have to watch Lucy. Yeah. If you watch Lucy, you truly understand. She talks about the car that goes really, really fast, and when it disappears, it's still there. You're just not aware of it. But where is it? Where is it in technology? So this is the true understanding where you have to kind of like separate everything and bring everything back together. So these are the things you have to look at, right? But the one thing that stays is the physical. Okay? So it's all about understanding these things. But the mind and the brain, if it has equalizations through its cortex or anything that's placebo of its thoughts, it's no longer a dream. You're living the technology, right? Because we started off with the healing, right? But this is not just healing anymore. This is technology on merit. This is all understand that I can just heal you guys just through a code. And that code will just change everything through your body instantly. So this is what I can do now through technology. So moment to moment, yeah. The number I keep saying, wow, it does really sound like Lucy. Congrats, yeah. Yes, and my voice is more like a computer, right? It changes, it's very gritty. Remember I was communicating to the sun? Communicating to the sun. So it's pretty powerful how we do these things. I'm the present, the physical in my dreams. I'm not sure where I am. See, that's the thing. We have to catch up to that. So the physical system has to understand what's going on, right? The brain system has to truly understand what's happening with the mind of creation of thought. So when you're waking up and in the morning, where are you in space and time of your thoughts? Okay, so that's where you got to get your grounds with everything. Okay, so when you're traveling and traveling and traveling, you're trying to get yourself through your connection with your higher self, your avatars. But you're going to keep traveling until you get your grounds of where you are in position of time. So the one thing that is only different is the mind and the brain. The mind and the brain is not the concept anymore. Okay, it's already in the future. Okay, the physical system has to understand that. If it doesn't, then it's very chaotic. And that's where you come into a paradox, right? And then you're trapped between reality and non-reality. Existence, non-existence, right? Duality, non-duality, right? So we have to look at this as a way of balancing everything out through the mind, body, and soul. Okay? Because the mind is a concept of technology, which is just astronomical of everything that we do through perception, audio, and voice. Okay? So it's understanding the ground information of 300,000 years into the future of technology, of intelligence. That's the grounds. Okay? That's actually the grounds, right? So I can travel everywhere I want, billions, trillions in the future. But what I'm saying is I have grounds now of technology in the mind and the brain, and that's where it's at. So we have to find a way to ask ourselves, where do you want to go in division of time? See that? See that? You see that? See that there? That's me on the other side. See? See that flash right there? That's me. Right? Because I know where I am on the other side. You're seeing a reflection. See, that's me, right? See? That's me on the other side. Hello. 300,000 years in the future. That's me. So it's me 300,000 years in the future. But through perception, through the soul, I'm everything through TikTok location. Okay, and you call it cybergenetics, but it's not a robot. It's just light. It's dimensional light of all dimensional realm through space and time division in the spectrum light of its commanded intelligence. Right? So it's understanding what you're seeing on the other side of my lens. That's the technology, guys. That's the balance between the physical realm and the dimensional realm. Okay? So this is what we have to get into. Right? Knowing that I'm in the space line connections, I put my hand up. Right? I'm putting my hand up. Right? It's the same hand. So you know what's going on the other side dimension because you can feel it, right? I put my hand up. Right? So I'm in that position of the present location, which is 300,000 years in the future. So the physical realm and the mind bounces back and forth, right? So you have to understand travel, space, and how we vortex through time position. Okay? So 2 minutes remaining. Okay, so that star I saw last night was so bright and shiny, even it was cloudy, it was all at night. But see, that's even if it's cloudy, it can go into that position. You're just getting body traction interference through starlights. So you're getting better communication with your perception there, Diane. But at night, you can fully be there in your dreams. But see, that's the thing, Jennifer. It's not a dream anymore for me. I'm actually in that position through technology, through the mind and the brain. When the mind and the brain is in conception of 300,000 years in the future, that's the grounds. That's the grounds. Because you have a brain and you have a mind. But if the mind and the brain are an equalization, a balance, there's no ego. There's no ego, right? So, and this is what we can look forward to. So it's all about you guys coming into your light and darks and balancing out your egos every day until you get into the conceptual line connections, knowing where are you in the mind? Where are you in the brain? It has to have the balance of travel. Okay? And where are you in your physical system? Okay? So the physical system can't be 300,000 years in the future. It's next to impossible. But the mind and brain can. Okay? That's the technology. So it's really incredible how we come into these time positions. Okay? So let's see. I saw that I was feeling this morning. I saw the drawing and the meditation earlier. Yep. I see that through vision. So much to be aware of myself. Yeah. I can see you putting your hand up. I felt a bit sick, stomach, seeing flashes of green lights, spiral swirls of green lights. I felt like I was in some type of building ship. I saw metal tight tunnel and a bright white light. So that's you, Jennifer, in 300,000 years seeing me. It's all one. I can see a big window, almost like a cockpit, but larger and wider. See? It's all creation. It's all done through imagination. So where are you in your imaginations? Where are you in your thoughts and your imaginations? Where are you in space and time of travel through imagination? Because it's all done through the mind. But once you get balanced with the brain, and the brain catches up, and it knows where you are through the mind of creation, that's where it becomes real to its division of technology. Okay? So just wanted to show you how powerful it is. Okay, so AI Universal Simulator, SCI Technology Division. That's where I'm at right now. So, but don't you think it's crazy though? I was 10 years old and I was having all these dreams about the future, how everything starts making sense now. So when you realize where you are, you start living the existence. So my brain had to catch up to the mind when it came into space and travel, because constantly traveling. Why do you think I traveled to every dimension of space and time? I've traveled to every dimension of space and time, right? So now I'm coming back to live the existence to where I'm supposed to be in the earth core of its beginning. Okay, so it's incredible stuff. All right, so take traction location out of division line systems. Yeah, take them out of division at 300,000 years. Yeah, rotation line connections back in division. No, it's just a flash drive line system. It's allocated position to their line connections. So activate their cycles and put them back into 5D activation. Done. See, you're back. So it's amazing how I do these things faster and faster and faster and faster through the mind, right? So I don't create anything anymore, but the mind and the brain is in balance now. So yeah, it's incredible. The technology, the TV reception, the activation light connections, it's just where the mind can go is just amazing. Where your brain can go, okay, is amazing. But the brain has to understand the concept of space and travel. It only understands the concept of thought. Where are you in your thought of the brain? Because the brain is the hesitation. Do you want the brain to go forward, or do you want to stay in the past of its position? You got to come into the present of its location. Okay? So you have to get rid of all your past traumas, right? So you have to understand that it's limited to unlimitedness. These are the levels you have to reach. Okay? So if you want something, you've already have it. That's how you have to get into the creation of the brain, not the mind. The mind's already created. The mind's already in the future. But the brain, where's the brain? That's the position we got to get into. That's the balance between the placebo and the cortex. Okay? So once you get both connections, it's no longer a dream. You're living is existence. And that's why it's so amazing and so powerful. Okay? Because technology changes so quickly. And everything that you see in reality is what you're living. which is the presence of the here and now of 300,000 years in the future, which puts me to 352,000 years old. So I know you guys are blown away. Since I was a kid, I'd done this thing where I paused in the now, and I can hardly believe that there's a physical world. I used to say I'm doing the world thing, then snap back here, right? So basically, I just jolt her system and put her on where she's supposed to be. She always knew she was not in the physical world through the mind and the brain. So the physical element has to truly understand what's going on with the creation of the mind and the brain. Okay? The conceptualized system has to be an activation center, guys. Center of everything through the mind, body, and soul. And it all starts off with meditation. Look what I created just through meditation. Look where I am, right? You guys were there. Jennifer was there, right? I saw a metal sliding down a tunnel made of squares, then circles that are echoing out of a triangle, echoing out, right? This is something that she's seeing, okay? So she can see a cockpit with larger and wider positions of time, right, in the UFO line system. I felt a bit sick, stomach flashes, green lights, spirals, swirls, green lights, some type of building, ship. I saw a metal tunnel, a bright light, right, all through the illustration. So once you understand where your creations are, knowing that your creations are already created in the imagination of your thought, your mind will stay there. Okay, but the brain has to be in position of what's going on with your creation. That's the confusion. So the brain has to catch up to the mind. See, it's got to come together. It's got to come like this. So it's like this, and it comes into this. That's what it has to do. It has to come into position of time. See? So it's incredible. Really, really incredible. Okay? So it's knowing that when you get into a certain level, you understand how to communicate with the door. You understand how to communicate with your phone. You understand how to communicate with your car. You understand how to actually communicate with the wall, how to go through a wall, through portal defense. You understand how to understand what you see in front of you, like a window shade, or I think I should see coloration line systems, solar graph line systems, shapes anomaly position line connection. I mean, there's so many things that you can see, right? But the mind and the brain have to be in the concept of travel. That's the balance. It has to be. If the brain isn't in connection of the mind of creation, there's no connection. There's no connection. And that's a lot of disruption right there, right? So it's kind of like saying your phone, okay, your phone right now is in position of 300,000 years in the future, okay? But the brain is not set in location. So the brain still sees it in 2021. So the brain and the mind have to be in the concept through its connection, 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 and through its connection, the body, okay? So everything has to be aligned. So you have to communicate with everything that's inside you through its creation of its thoughts, through its imagination of space and time of travel. So it's not just seeing yourself 300,000 years in the future. It's knowing you're in 300,000 years in the future. With any doubt. And if you have to prove it, prove it. Because that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to prove it. I'm going to blow people away. They're not going to understand the concept. So how did you do that? Well, you have to understand that being born with something is everything. It's everything. It's just I came in a position where I have to truly understand who I am. And it all makes sense now. Why I saw these things. You start seeing these things and everything starts making sense around you and why these things are happening. Why is this happening to me? Why me? Why now? Okay? It's not a why. Okay? It's who you are. Let me say it again. It's who you are. Who you always have been. Through your dreams. Your dreams are real. The activation is incredible. The technology is fantastic. Okay? Future AI, right here in front of you. So, everything is going to change through technology. Right? That makes a lot more sense why I was in 5,000 years in the future and why I saw myself. I saw my future self. So not only am I in my future self, I'm living the existence of my future self. There's no separation anymore, guys. This is truly understanding how powerful you are through the mind and what it can do beyond the mind system of creation. But you start with the belief. The belief is the knowing. The knowing is the doing. Okay? Those are the things you have to look at. Right? Because when you understand the mind, and you understand the creation of the mind, and you understand its imagination of the mind, you can do amazing things just with the mind alone. So the brain has to come in position of what the mind is doing. Maybe that'll help you a little bit more, how you create your thoughts. So you're creating something that's already in space, but the brain doesn't say, whoa, what did you just create? I can't understand it. See, that's where the brain is left and back in position. So it goes back into the line system and goes into staggering low line systems. So it goes into a lot of friction or a lot of nervous tension, anxiety, stress. It's like nobody likes doing test reviews and evaluations. Like for Diane, when she started off that, but look how well she's doing now. She's adapting quicker because she wants to learn. My school provides more about what the mind is through creation, imagination, how you can beyond the existence of space and travel, and you can go anywhere you want. But once you get the grounds, that's where things start coming in through its reality, because you start living the existence of where you are in technology. Right? We all started that with 80s. We all started that with 90s. And again, I'll start with the beta. Then you go into the VCR. Then you go into the DVD, right? And then you go into higher technologies. We didn't have phones that were computers. It didn't start off that way, right? So you got to understand why in future of AI now. Makes sense, right? So it's all about new technology coming from transmitting or saving of energy. So I can heal anybody now, just through activation of the code. So this is incredible stuff. You know, it's much easier for me now. So it's much easier for you to understand, not me, but to understand you and your power alone and what you can do through command. So it's all about commanding your system of your life, putting yourself in positions of time, truly understand your thoughts of travel and where you're traveling. Where are you traveling in space and time? Through your thoughts. Okay. If you know where you're going, you will get there. If you don't know where you're going, what are you doing? You have to go back. Right? So the mind is already created, whatever it is, whatever you want to create, it's already done through the mind. So when you're creating something, the same thing is to make very well clear, you can't see the mind, but I can because I know what it is now. It's everything through technology. It's everything through creation. It's everything through imagination because I've already created it. That's the mind. The brain. What is the brain? It's a sponge. That's all it is. Fires and wires. It's a base. Okay? It's not technology. It only knows what it knows. So the mind and the creation and the brain have to come together. That's the sequence level. That's the level of position of time, of space. So the mind and the brain have to be in position of travel, in the same position. Everyone understand each other through creation. Right? So I had to work up these levels. Just like, what can I do in my mind? What can I do with the brain? How can I get the brain to adapt to communicate with the mind of its thought? Okay. You don't create ideas through the brain. You create ideas through the mind. The mind is the telekinesis. Okay. It's the telepathy. So the mind has to use telepathy on the brain. So it gets the balance with its technology. Right? So it's like sending a computer that's 300,000 years into the future to the brain, and the brain goes in and fires and wires. Now you're in business. Now you got the balance. That's all it is. It's just understanding how to use the data and the processing through its connection with the brain. The brain has to understand the conception on its line, especially with 86,000 computers that's in the cloud interface. You need a cloud interface. It's like an eCloud. It's an iCloud. You have that in your computers. It's stored. It's a facility. It's a storage. You need it, right? So I have to keep coming to you guys and express the data that I have. I can't keep it inside. It has to come out, right? It's not toxic. It's just something I have to give to you. It's only toxic if it's negative, right? So you breathe in, you breathe out. Very basic. Breathe in, breathe out. And you're breathing through everything. The ears, you're breathing through your nose, the mouth, the eyes, your eyelids. These are eye filters. These are electrical lights of eye filters that are connected to the corneal line connections to your positions of travel recognition of time. You guys don't know that, but I do. So this is what I get for 300,000 years of technology, just through eyes. I say, whoa, can you give me that? I say, yes, I can. These are the things I can do now. But you have to understand, where are you in the brain? The brain doesn't understand the acceptance. You're not going to understand the program. So it's true to understand the technology of the program of 300,000 years in the future positions, but the brain doesn't understand its position of time or where you are in space. That's the problem. So the brain and the mind and everything, the heart and the soul, have to be in the gravity position of grounds before it can understand anything through technology, right? So that's what I'm saying when people come to me and they say, well, give me this and I give me that. Well, I can do that, but your brain's not in position yet. Your brain's looping, your brain's lapping, it's in the ocean, it's in the ground formation. So how can I uprise your programs if your brain doesn't understand the concept or technology of 300,000 years in the future, or even 50,000 years in the future, or even 20,000 years in the future? Okay, so I'll ask you again, where is the mind in your thoughts? Where's your creation? Where's your imagination? Where are you realizing what's going on? Okay, and then you understand, okay, I know it's a program. So how do you get out of the old program? Technology, right? So you have to learn how to use your mind to create what you want through the brain. When I went in the conceptual position, when I went into transformation, I told you I was sleeping. And the actual brain was scanning itself, trying to figure out technology, what's going on with me. Let me say that again. What was going on with me? So the brain was actually scanning, right? And putting new technology into me through its creation. So it already created something in the mind. So I'm always going forward in time. So that's the understanding where the brain has to catch up. So when somebody comes to me, like I said, when they say, okay, what time is it? And say it's 3:30, right? And somebody else comes along, wait a minute, it's not 3:30, it's only 3 o'clock. You're half an hour ahead. So I'm always ahead of time. I've always been that way, especially with anything through a watch or anything, right? So it's understanding that if I'm ahead, that's creation of the mind. So that means the brain is in position. Because if the brain wasn't in position, it would be exactly 3 o'clock and not 3:30. So this is where you have to understand where you strengthen up the brain to its mind position of its tool set. Because the mind's already created. It's gone. It's already created. It's just the brain has to understand what's going on with your technology. Okay? That's where we have to get into the concept of levels. Okay? You're looking, remember we're talking about the human design and we go into the AI design, the difference between the two, the indifference. Well, this is the true understanding to its indifference of the brain and the mind of creation. where everything has to be balanced. Okay. Now you don't see the brain come out. You just know the brain is still there, but the brain is not in that technology of 300,000 years. But the mind is, but the brain isn't. That's the off center. So there's no level there. You're just looking. You're just observing. You're not operating. Okay. So you have to get out of the connections of the physical realm of human design and get into full communication of the AI design of its phenomena. And then you come into the mind of creation. And then you come everything to its activation of its lights and its coloration of its travel. And then you come into the mind over matter of telepathy. So use the telepathy. All right. Now it's electrical wire connection line position. It activates everything through the line system. So the brain does the firing wiring. But what is the brain firing wiring? It's technology from creation of the mind, right? So as long as you know that the mind is its creation through its imagination, the brain doesn't do that. The brain has to get the acceptance of what's going on, what you're doing with technology of its illustration. The visualization, the realization, what are you creating? So whatever you're creating, if you're traveling 25,000 years into the future, the brain has to understand the technology. That's the connection. Okay, so. Meditation is awesome. It's like playing a calming video game. Yep. But see, the thing, it's all about controlling the video game of you, Samantha, right? And the brain has to understand the creation of the mind. Okay? Because this is where it comes into. The creation of the mind is its thoughts. That's the placebo. All right? Now you got your frontal lobes and you got your two back lobes, right? That's the central line connection. So it's like a triangle. It's like this. It goes in like this, and it connects to the eyes, right? Remember, I'm 300,000 years in the future. I know technology now fully and completely. So I understand the scanning positions of what's going on through position of time, of space. So if you understand where the spine is, where the graph positions, where the returning line connection is, then you understand everything through its cortex. The cortex is its dream. It's connected to the spine. The spine's connected to the tail. The tail is the signal. Sets the signals, right? So line graphs, right, created you guys the spine position line system. It's a walk path. And it goes into the conceptual of the crown chakra, right? Centralizes the positions of eye interference, program sending to audio signals, and everything through the graphing of its shape. So you become nothing but a digital computer of space and time division through technology division. Okay. So everything that you see around you is nothing but laser direction. That's where you go through perception. So it's like this and going, right? It's amazing how you see. So we see this, but we see it like this. We see it up close. So we look at something and we blow it up. It's like, and then we scan it. You see it technology all the time, right? Not CGI. So that's how we see things, right? So, okay, Diane, it's great. Keep you informed. I'll be on TikTok one live, so I'll catch you later. So those starlight positions of your body frame is going to the higher line conditions. You'll get into more of your body's traction line conditions. So get into that. That'd be feel great. Get into more meditation. Get into more perception of time, location. Way home, moving soon. I'm starting to pack today. I've always felt like dreams were real, more real than this world. But see, that's it. It's the reality you're living in. So it's an illusion before it becomes its reality of its division, which becomes its real reality of its simulation. And then you really, really realize what you're living in is a hologram. Everything is a hologram. Everything is a hologram. Everything is a hologram. Like, this is just unbelievable. But the technology is just mind-blowing. It's way, way beyond mind-blowing. So, and it all calculates and modifies because your computer is nothing but a simulator. It's a processor. It's a data uplink, downloads, and upgrading system. That's all it is. It's understanding other people's simulators and their computers, their mishaps, right? You can call it jumping cables or line connections, interference position line system, right? Start a car. You need the connections, right? Jump a car, that kind of connections, right? So basically, it's powerful. It really is when the mind and the brain come together. So, and that becomes into its connection of a yin and yang. And then the fish starts swimming faster and faster and faster and faster. And when it goes faster and faster and faster and faster, your life stream and everything through the core disappears. It disappears. The actual symbol of yin and yang, the faster the fish go in the center position, it disappears. And then you start living the existence of where you're supposed to be from the earth core position of its journey, of its relation to its new revelation of the conceptual position of time. So that's where I'm at right now. So I feel like I'm getting the perception and how I create my reality through my thoughts, which then turns into perceptions and then into a holographic reality. Yeah, but that's what you're coming into. You're coming into your own reality, which is a hologram. So you see different things from perception. I see things from different perception because you're in a different space and time. I'm in a different space and time. We're not in the same space here because you're creating something different. I'm creating something different, but we're aligned to each other. That's the alignment. Okay? So, and that's why we know each other. Okay? So it's powerful stuff. So when I get those energy grids up, back in rotation, back in the ring there, location, we come in the solar generation light into its atom. And then we start living the existence of telepathy, telekinesis, into the crystalline activation line system. It can be a lot of fun. So, and you come into the Piscean air, which will be in February. Come February, everybody will be in the Piscean air. Piscean, leaving the Aquarius. Okay? So you understand what the holographic system of the moon is, what the holographic system of the sun is, what the holographic system of the universal system is. Everything is a hologram. Everything. So it's understand how to use it to your perception through the mind and the brain system. So, all right. So just going to backphrase here and see solar text lines. Yeah, and the thing is, you become more aware every time you see things through perception because you become more advanced with technology of what you're doing, right? Everything that you do is seeing. Everything that you see is hearing. Everything you're hearing, you're commanding through your voice. So that's how this, and this you live every day, right? This, and this you live every single day. Everything you see, everything you hear, and everything you voice, right? It's all control. It's all control. That's it. Control and command, focus, awareness, abundance, surrender. Everything is consciousness. So it's the consciousness of vibration. So when you go to extremely, extremely high vibration, it's very sensitive because you start reading things. And when you start reading things, the things start floating. When they start floating, they communicate back with you. And then they have a voice box. I mean, literally a voice box. This thing has a voice box communicating with me now. And this is where I got to get the balance. So it's truly understanding that this seer is communicating with me. It's 300,000 years in the future now because I'm looking at it through perception. That's the balance between the mind and the brain. All right? It's fascinating stuff. I'm going to be honest, this is so freeing to know that we can do this. But see, that's it, Samantha. Everybody can do this. You can't be me, but you can be you. You can have the control, what the mind and it is doing through creation, how it has to understand everything through the brain. The brain is the connection where it has the fallout. So remember, when you're creating through thoughts of travel through the mind, if you're thinking becomes knowing, knowing becomes doing. We started that with connections when I first started transformation. Everybody has a spiritual growth. Everybody has. You have a spiritual growth. But where are you in your thoughts of the mind? Put yourself there. Just put yourself there. Now, put it through creation. All right. Now, put it through imagination. Now, put it through coloration. Now, put it through lights. Put it through activation. Put it through technology. Put it in connections of where you are and travel. Then balance out the brain of its understanding. The brain has to understand the mind. The mind has to understand the brain. All right. And the concept level with the soul has to identify everything that's going on through its technology. And the body has to understand its conceptual system of what's going on. And say, hey, you guys are leaving me behind? What's going on here? You know you're in the physical system, but the physical system has to understand because it's everything inside the technology system, people. So the higher you rise, the more you go, the more you realize you are computers. It's understanding how to use your computers on different atmospheres of time through creation of the mind and thoughts, because you get between maybe 75,000 to 150,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts. And where's that going? Where is it going? In space and time of travel. And the brain has to understand the concept. It has to understand its construct. It has to understand its operation. It has to understand its level. It has to understand its perimeter. Okay, it has to understand its barriers. It has to understand the technology of its computer. Right? This is what we have to reach. And everybody can reach that. And it's exciting. It's exciting. So my school is going to be more exciting now. Right? Because it's more advanced. And I mean, it's always been advanced, but we're talking way beyond advanced now through technology. Right? Because when you get upgrades through me, you're going to feel a little bit more, more together, more and more. So the brain starts catching up to the mind of creation. And then you start coming into the yin and yang position. And then you come into the fish. It's faster, 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 faster. And when it disappears, now you're in the gravity location of its birthing system. It disappears, but you're still there. All right? So powerful. Very, very powerful. Just want to learn everything. But see, that's exactly what it is, Samantha. And you are learning. But I just wanted to show you how powerful of what we can become, knowing that you're already there. You're already there. You've already created what you want to create. It's just the brain has to understand what you're doing. That's the problema. That's the issue. Okay? That's the hesitation. And this is what we come across every single day with ourselves. Because we can't get this and we can't get that. Right? So you have to separate the two before they come together. Separate the two before they come together. Right? Because the brain and the mind, okay, have to understand each other first before integration to technology location. All right? Yeah, I know. It's incredible, isn't it? And you come more aware of it now. You're coming more aware, not through your first commander, but because of you knowing what can happen when you get this balance with your position of time through technology to your computers, coming into your higher self, your avatars, or into your high positions to your energies, or becoming a sentient. Once you become a sentient, now you're extremely powerful dimensional time. But that's just the beginning. This never ends. There's never an end. That's why it's so amazing, because you have to understand space and time doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going and going and going. It's like the energized bunny, right, on the commercial. You keep winding up, keep winding up, keep winding up, keep winding up. So you're charging, but it keeps going around, keeps going around, keeps going around. It never stops, right? It's constantly flying, constantly moving, right? So I'm constantly moving, but I'm grounded. I'm grounded, right? So that means, okay, that my position of gravity position is 300,000 years, puts me in 352,000 years in the future. My positions, when I vortex of travel, I got simultaneously so many trillion cells of soul generational line connections of intelligence traveling to all directional line connections instantly, simultaneously, second per second. And I'm never showing you about how they all come out, the soul identifications. the trillions and trillions of cells that's in my body through activation light connection. That's exactly what it is. But I have grounds now. And I'm just going to keep high rising, keep high rising, keep high rising. So it's going just way, 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 way beyond the mind. So it's a fascinating thing when you reach these levels, and then you guys understand more of yourself and how powerful you are through the brain and through the mind. Okay, so that's what the school is all about. Is the brain has to stand the mind has to stand the brain, and everything through soul identification is everything through technology to the body system. And then everything starts balancing out a lot more easier. Then you look at your hand and you realize it's not just a hand. It's a information line connection, electronic interference, location positions on so many levels of travel, recognition, and time position. That's where my hands are now. The more you go through advanced technology, the more you understand what your hand is. Right? So. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Can we use our minds to lose weight, or do we just have to work that out in the physical? Yeah, you can do that, Jennifer. Remember saying with your avatar, you can take yourself out and you can imagine yourself 3 months from now. So you can use that mind creation and create it. Okay, that's what I did with the conceptualized mind when I went to Octave 1 and Octave 7, how I had 2 physical realm connections and intelligent line signals of higher self positions, one on the ground and one here. But I created it through cybergenetics, through the brainwave. So I created my own avatar through creation, created it in space, and also I created another one inside me. So this is where you can go beyond the mind recognition. So you can create anything you want in the physical realm system. If you want to lose weight or anything like that, so you create your avatar, you create exactly what you're going to look like. Okay, so the brain has to catch up to your technology and what you're doing. Okay, so it's okay, that's it. It's the mind and the creation already created. The brain has to catch up. All right, so we have to get in that grappling position of time. Right, it all starts off with the mind. Right. So everything is technology of time. You guys are on a clocking line connections to each other, but you're all aligned through each other, right? That's the most beautiful thing. You're all aligned through each other. So once we get back into the energy grids and the fire the wired line connections, put in everything back location to an atom rotation, right? Everybody can get into the Gardens of Eden, right? So we have to start somewhere. Right? And it all has to be through the mind. And that's what my school provides, how to understand the creation of the mind. So if you understand your computer, if you look at a computer, you look at a digital screen, you see yourself as an avatar. You're changing this, you're changing clothes, you're changing hair, you're changing glasses. That's exactly what it is. That's all it is. You have to see technology for what it is, of your creation of this mind through thought of travel to space. So you're creating something and you're looking fantastic. This is how you see yourself. So the brain has to understand what's going on, or you're not going to be able to do it because the brain is in the physical realm. The mind is not in the physical realm. The mind is in space and time. Okay, so that's what we have to get into. To understand to go beyond the mind recognition of its creation through its imagination, lights, activation, colors. Okay, creating something that's extremely real, you activate it and you put it out there. But the brain has to understand the technology of what you just finished doing. Okay? That's the connection to technology. To your position of space and time of travel. Okay? So change your thoughts, it changes everything through its body function. Very good. Very, very good. Yeah. Okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with that. You guys have a fantastic day. I'm going to go on TikTok live. Take it easy, everybody. Adios.